We're delighted to be here today with Craig Fraser, CEO of Windtree Therapeutics. And Craig, we got a chance to talk about a week ago. You've just got a great story, and it all begins with your time in the military. Why don't we start right there?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I came into this industry about 30 years ago, 29 years ago, as we were talking about out of the military. And I spent some time in the Marine Corps and then some time in the Army as an officer after school. And it's a great way to start. You get a lot of responsibility at a very young age. But I love the sense of mission, obviously, that you have, and just the sense of purpose with it all, and the ability to make a difference. And frankly, that's what led me to life sciences. And because this is the type of career and the type of industry where you have such a palatable and important mission. And that's what we've been doing here at Windtree.
Well, and Craig, you got in really with one of the founding companies in the region at Centocor. And so I would love to hear about your time there and how that's shaped what you're doing today.
Yeah, I think there's a few of us in this corridor that has spent some time in Centocor, and in the early days, there was such a collection of talent, and I really had the opportunity to work with and learn from really good folks. But I joined Centocor pre-commercialization in the second chapter of it, if you will, in the mid-90s. And for me, it was really being in management, my first taste of entrepreneurial startup, really valuing the science. We were a cutting edge, back in the day, monoclonal antibody company, but the ability and the power of being bold, of launching into cardiovasculars. Remicade obviously turned on the afterburners, but boy, I learned a lot there, and it really solidified how much I love being in startups and the possibilities and the power, if you apply good science, of what you can build. Yeah.
And so you were there also through the J&J acquisition. So you saw the big pharma side as well.
I did. And, I've been in a combination of some small startups like Windtree or Centocor back then, as well as some of those worked out well, and have consequently been in some large companies, running businesses in some of the bigger companies, leading oncology at J&J, and I've even been in Pfizer with a number of different disease areas. Yep. So
let's move on to Windtree. What an interesting story, because there was a predecessor, Discovery Labs, and you really were instrumental in really resuscitating and transforming that company to become Windtree today.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. And, we have a great team, and I'm proud of the work that we've been able to do. And, I joined a little more than 4.5 years ago, and the first order of business was to get us executing. Let's make sure we could get trials going. But I also knew, coming from Discovery Labs and this transition over to Windtree to hunkering back to being a development stage company, that it wasn't just about execution, but we were going to need to do some things different strategically. Because we were a one product company, in part because of what had played out with Discovery Labs, we were highly leveraged. There was debt, there was just a structure that was difficult, frankly, for any small startup. And one of the things you need to do, besides executing on what you do have, and in this case, we have a great program called Aerosurf, but we also discovered along the way that we were going to need to do a bit more work on the device side. It's a drug device combination to help little premature babies that have respiratory distress syndrome, they can't breathe. And it's a really novel approach and an innovative approach that's totally shifting the paradigm. And what mission is better than helping these tiny little babies down in the NICU. So that's all the good part of it. As a company, though, you know, I think as a startup, we always have to try to create as leaders optionality for the company. We have to be able to constantly look and diversify risk, to have more shots on goal constantly. So much of our job is thinking about the capital and the resources and how you clean things up and bring down burn, and where's your next source of revenue or, you know, just investment going to come from. And we made some moves that worked out for the company, helped build us to what we are today as a multi-asset, globalized company that's doing development, late stage development.
Craig, let's drill a little deeper on that, because I think that you went to both sources of capital and partners in a way that maybe others might not have done. And I was really struck by the innovative approach that you took to really put the financing in place that you needed to.
Yeah, I think one of the things that is a key strategic decision that you have to make while you're doing development is not just whether you partner or not partner, and is it global partner or geographical partnering, but when you do it. And for us, we debated while we were in the middle of a phase 2B on whether to do a partnership then or wait till after the results where you might command more value. And one of the very purposeful decisions that we made is, you know, we shouldn't be by ourselves. It would be good to have somebody else in the boat, frankly. And we did a really important partnership with Lee's Pharmaceutical over in Asia, and Hong Kong-based company with a really great CEO there. And I will tell you, when the time came to months later to be able to either bail water or row, we had somebody there with us to help bring in money into the company. And frankly, I leveraged that relationship to be introduced to his shareholders and to people in the capital markets in Asia. And opening up that front also of capital markets in Hong Kong and in China helped lead to be in another source that could help complete the financings that we needed to be able to do things. And ultimately, it also led us to an opportunity that ended up being a merger and acquisition, and us pulling off a big deal of bringing in a private company that was a Taiwanese-based company with some products that came out of Europe, having some insider round investing from that side. And we brought in these great acute cardiovascular assets into our portfolio about 18 months ago, along with a major financing. So a lot of that happened because of those key choices along the way of creating options for the company, bringing in partners, leveraging those partners more than just for development, but in helping you to get the company to where you want it to be.
What a great story. So at this point, you have 4 late-stage products, and you've alluded to 2 of them. I don't know if you want to speak a bit about the others. And then you've also got a pipeline of preclinical development going on as well. So very excited to hear about where you are on the trajectory in the late stage, and also what can we look forward to soon?
Sure. Our lead program, our lead asset is a product called istaroxene, and ISTA for short is a first-in-class dual mechanism product that its lead indication that we're looking to develop is for acute heart failure. And now all of us, I think, have had relatives and know people that have had heart failure, because it's the #1 reason for hospital admissions in the United States and people over the age of 65. There's about 6 million folks in the United States and equal amount in Europe with this. And the thing about heart failure is, despite the prevalence is growing. And unfortunately, in the US, mortality has been increasing as well. And when patients have these acute crises where they do go into decompensated state and fluid overload and come into the hospital, there's been a lack of innovation in therapies for a lot of years. And physicians are left with these old agents that have many rate-limiting toxicities and some challenges. Istaroxene works in a very novel way with a dual mechanism that not only increases the force of contraction of the heart to get better cardiac output and function of the heart, but also has this unique circuit 2A mechanism that causes a relaxation of the heart, gets better fill volumes. And so we're both working in both the systolic and a diastolic phase, the whole cycle of the heart. And we've done a positive 2A and a 2B study, and we're now doing the type of work that will take it towards phase 3. We're also just kicked up a cardiogenic shock study that we're starting up here in the course of this quarter as another indication that could possibly be a breakthrough indication and be faster and a little bit less expensive moving out in front of the heart failure indication. So we're really excited about ISTA and its possibilities. That's a lead along with our legacy with AeroSurf and the acute pulmonary stuff that we're doing for the little babies at the other end of the spectrum in the hospital.
And then a quick second on what you have in the pipeline.
Yeah, we have oral follow-ons in the heart failure area around the circuit 2A mechanism. That's really exciting and attractive. That could be for chronic heart failure as well. And we're doing other things with AeroSurf as a drug device combination, but the drug side, this KL4 synthetic surfactant, has other applications around lung injury that we're even considering in COVID-19 patients that are on ventilators and some other applications. So we're busy. You know, we're a lean team, but we have a lot going on.
Craig, what a great story. It's wonderful that you could take some time with us today. We're very excited about what you have going on at Windtree, and we will stay in touch with you.
Thank you.